The first time I heard about it, of course, I didn't know what it meant because I didn't understand why somebody would be saying imposter syndrome. So it was when I looked into it that I actually understood that I was also suffering from the same thing. But that is what Igbo people call it. So I know it's what is keeping a lot of people back. I had a discussion with somebody last week who I know should be ahead of where she currently is. So when I asked her what the issue was, I found out that it's the same problem, the imposter problem, okay? So basically what they define it as, when you say somebody is an imposter, it means that somebody is claiming to be who they are not, okay? So sometimes you are scared to show up because you feel people will call you a quack, or maybe you're not qualified, or they'll call you fraud, they'll call you out, okay? So you're afraid to show up. And maybe sometimes also afraid to show up because you're not sure of what lies ahead of you, you're scared and all that. So you just tell yourself, this is not me, let me just be me, okay? But meanwhile, that opportunity or whatever it is you're stepping into is calling for your growth. Okay, so today we're looking at how to unmask the imposter, and I said gain clarity and tools to own your expertise, seize new opportunities, and thrive in your career and business. Okay, so I've explained to you what an imposter syndrome is. It means when you doubt your own skill, when you doubt your talents, sometimes even your achievements, and you doubt whether you're capable of taking on the next task. Okay. You may find people around you starting businesses and you be like, I beg, I'm not sure I can start it. I don't have what it takes. Okay, so that is what keeps people at their current level. So there are 7 problems with the imposter syndromes. I will just show you what those problems are so that you know what they are and begin to address them. So number 1, it makes you constantly to doubt your abilities, okay? Meanwhile, you're qualified, but you shy out. I remember initially when I started as an architect and I needed to go into construction, I was doubting my abilities because I was like, can I do it and can I not do it? Until one day I made up my mind and I stepped in, and that was how I started, okay? So the second one is that it causes burnout because you overwork yourself to prove that you can do this. So instead of us trusting God and trusting in His grace to step into the next level, we feel that you must work extra hard, to step into that next level. Meanwhile, you have been graced with the character, with the abilities to get into that next step. What else it does to you is that sometimes you miss opportunities because you're not giving chances to growth. This thing happens at the edge of your growth. Everybody on this call, I know you're interested in growing, but the gap between where you are and where you're headed to is created by this thing called Mr. Imposter, okay? Sometimes it lowers your self-confidence, it lowers your self-esteem, and next thing, you're suffering out of stress, maybe anxiety, and even depression, because fine, you're not moving, nothing is working, then you're not happy, okay? So the worst part of it is that some people struggle to accept compliments. So somebody tells you, wow, you give a speech, this is good. And you're like, no, 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 no. So you feel they are lying to you. They're just trying to please you. You can't appreciate yourself, okay? So what this thing does is that it stops you from growing, okay? So I said it, so it brings doubt, it brings anxiety, it makes you struggle, it makes you burn out, it brings stagnation. Okay, so that thing making you to doubt yourself is imposter syndrome. That thing making you anxious and not stepping in is imposter syndrome. You're struggling, imposter syndrome. Depression, stress, stagnation. So most times it's imposter syndrome causing it, and I'm going to show you how, okay? Now, somebody studied this and came up with these archetypes. So there are 5 archetypes, okay? Now, the first one is the perfectionist syndrome. If it is not perfect, you're not showing up. If it is not perfect, you're not taking a new step, okay? So you keep telling yourself, I'm a failure because I'm not perfect, or my output is not perfect. And what it does now is that any small mistake you make, you flog yourself. I used to be like that, okay? Fine, maybe they call you for a meeting and they ask you to make a presentation. You make the presentation. Maybe somewhere along the presentation, you mumble some words or you mess up some slides. You come out of it and you're beating yourself how the presentation was bad. Meanwhile, in that meeting, nobody noticed anything. You were the only one that knew you made a mistake, and you're the only one that chose not to forgive yourself. So when they call for the next meeting, you bail out. So number one, that's perfectionist. You don't allow any room for mistakes. Okay. Now, what it does for you, for such people, is that you always micromanage. Okay, because you feel other people cannot help you. When you start your business, you will struggle because you'll be struggling to employ somebody to help you because you don't trust anybody. You want it done the perfect way. For goodness sake, you that you're running your business, somebody trusted you and allowed you, gave you an opportunity to do the work or build the skill that you're currently using now. Okay, so that's the first one, the perfectionist. Now, the second one is the superwoman or the superman. Okay, that one tells, so there's nothing wrong with being the best, but you tell yourself that you must do more so that people will appreciate you. So you find yourself sacrificing a lot, working hard, stressing yourself a lot. Do you understand? Because you see, so what happens is that you work harder just to cover up your tracks. Okay, so that is the superwoman or the superman syndrome. You see, one thing, there's something called grace. You do things at your pace. I'm not at your pace, it's not laziness, so, but you're doing what you love. You know, you don't get to a point. You know, when people say that they hate Mondays, do you understand? Because they've stressed themselves so much that they're not looking forward to another Monday. Okay, so you're expected to work at your pace and also enjoy the work you're doing. Okay, I can remember those days where sometimes I want to clear all the work I have. I'll keep working. You know, I'll finish clearing it though. All of a sudden, I will come to work on Monday and there's still more work on my table. And I'm like, what is going on? There will always be work. Okay, so do your work per day. Go and rest and come back to work the next day. Okay, so the third one is a natural genius. Okay, so you feel shame when you're struggling to master a new skill. Okay, I'll try and hurry up now. So the fourth one is the soloist. You tell yourself, I must accomplish this on my own. There are people like that, okay? They believe that asking for help is a weakness. Then the last one there is also the expert, okay? You believe that's the expert means they want to know, I mean, I must know everything, okay? So they focus on, you see, you keep learning. Sometimes you're frustrated because you've learned so much, but it hasn't translated into anything. So all these are imposter syndrome. Instead of stepping onto the stage or doing the next task, okay, you don't. So you cover up your lapses with continuous learning and you tell yourself you're learning, you're making progress. No, so learning does not translate to progress. What translates to progress is actions taken based on the information you have gained. So that is what the 5 types of imposters. So we're going to take a syndrome test now, and I want you to do it with me so that we know exactly whether there's anything here that you need to work on, okay? So the first one, I'm going to ask you the question, and the question is, do you feel like how do you feel when you make mistakes? So do you feel that you have failed? So that's number one. Okay. How do you feel when you make mistakes? You feel very bad. So that's a perfectionist. I used to be there. When you make mistakes, you flog yourself. So if the answer is a yes, tick yes. Now, the second one is, do you believe that you need to know more, okay, before you can succeed or before you can do anything? There are people I have asked to start businesses and they are still struggling. Okay. And it's not as if they're not struggling to start it, they are struggling with themselves because they have not convinced themselves that they can start those businesses. And they fall in here. You don't need to know much. Nobody knows everything because even till tomorrow, you go to Lagos Business School, they are still teaching people about how to run businesses. There are new principles coming out on how to run businesses. There are new accounting principles coming out. So knowledge is endless. So there's no way or there's no how that you can have all the knowledge you need to start anything you need to start. As far as I'm concerned, you see the knowledge you have as of today, is okay to start anything. But I'm not saying this for certification courses. Or maybe you want to be a doctor. For goodness sake, go to medical school. Okay. But there are certain things you're supposed to do now that I believe you have enough knowledge to start it. So if you feel that you need more knowledge to start anything, so you have the the experts imposter syndrome. Now, the next one is, do you avoid asking for help because you think it shows weakness? You don't like asking for help. Now, you're stuck. Your business is not moving forward. Instead of you to take your phone and call your friend or somebody that you know and say, please, I'm stuck. This is the problem. How can you help me? You don't do that. You just stay on your own. It's imposter syndrome. So that's the soloist. If you have that issue, so you can tick it. So we've done 3 now. I don't know whether I have 1 yes, 2 yeses, or 3 yeses. Then the 4th one is the natural genius. So let's say the question. So do you feel inadequate if something doesn't come easily or your first try? You see, all these ones before, I would tick all of them. I was 5 of them. Okay, because of my archetype and my personality. I was a very withdrawn person. So I did not like making mistakes because I didn't want people to laugh at me. I didn't know how to speak up because I didn't want to communicate in the wrong way. That's number 2. 3, I found it hard also asking for help because I feel if I ask for help, it will mean I don't know it. So I registered present for number 1 to 3. Then number 4, sometimes I feel inadequate. So when something doesn't come easily, so you try the first time, it doesn't work, I quit. Do you understand? So on your first try, for goodness sake, you made that investment the first time and it didn't work. Can't do it again. Okay, can't do it again. You took the exam and you did not pass. Can't take it again. You see the whole IT, imposter syndrome will keep and tell you you failed. I beg, just go and calm down. Don't stress yourself. Okay? But a growth mindset is, look, what is failure now? At least I've seen the exam question. I've seen how tough it is. I'm going to write it again. And when I write it again, I'm going to pass. So that's number 4. Do you fall into that category? So you can tick it. Then number 5. Do you feel pressure to excel in every role? Okay, maybe in your family, in your community, at work, in your office, in your church, all at once. Okay, so do you feel pressure? So what it means is that you want to be relevant. So you take on so much assignments just because you want to be relevant. And all of a sudden, you're overburdened. You don't know how to say no. You don't know how to delegate. So is the superwoman syndrome or superman syndrome your problem? Because you feel when you do more is when you be appreciated. Who told you that? Because what happens now is that you find yourself juggling more balls than you can. You find yourself juggling 3 balls, 4 balls, 5 balls, and before you know it, everything starts to crash. Okay, so I want you to look at it if you really did the exercise with me, and if you answered yes to 2 or more, then it means that you have to start working on this stuff called imposter syndrome. So I had to start working on it because I knew it was limiting me. I scored 5 over 5 because all my yes, every question here was yes for me until I started to work on it. Okay. So now when I noticed all these things, I had to start taking steps, and that is what I'm going to take you to now. Okay. Now, because let me tell you how it was so bad for me then that I had to go and buy that book by John Maxwell called Failing Forward. Hey, failing was painful for me. I felt it was a crime to fail. And the annoying thing was that the more I felt like that, the more I failed. So I bought books so that I could condition myself to understand that, look, failing is not a problem. And I read that whole book. I don't need to read the book now because I understand that failure is actually a feedback. Okay, so failure doesn't mean you're failure. Failure is a feedback that the process does not work. Okay, so I'm going to show you now 5 truth replacements that you need to start working with. Okay, because let's just take it from here. So you need to replace those things because your brain is the foundation of all the lies that are keeping you stuck. Okay, so the lie is that if I make a mistake, I'm a failure. I have to start working on myself to understand that, look, failure is actually a feedback. Okay, so if I fail, I just take a feedback on what does not work and continue working. So the second one, suffering from the expert syndrome, and you tell yourself, I don't know yet enough to succeed. So the truth replacement statement here is that I already know enough to add value. You see, you know enough. I'm telling you the truth. You know enough. You know enough. Go out to the street there and meet the next person there. You know more than them. I'm telling you the truth. You know enough. So stop. I'm not trying to say stop taking courses. So take, but the only reason you must take the next course is that the previous one that you have taken, you're already applying it. So if you're not applying it, please don't go and buy any other one. Okay? Go back and apply the ones you have bought. You buy so many of them and you don't apply them. What are you buying them for? There were even some courses we bought them, but we didn't need. Okay, and now the knowledge has expired because we bought it, we didn't apply it, and the knowledge has expired. Okay, so the next one is, so I said, okay, so if you tell yourself, I don't know enough to succeed, the truth statement there is, I already know enough to add value, and I can always keep learning as I go. So the secret is to keep learning as you go. Then the third one is the soloist. Okay, when you think that asking for help makes you weak, no. Okay, so what you can do at this point is to understand that asking for help is strength. Okay, it allows me to grow so that I can get better results. Asking for help just gives you access to what works. Okay, so you ask for help to make you grow. When you're stuck, you ask for help. Then the fourth one is the natural genius. Okay, and that thing tells us if it doesn't come easy, I'm not good enough. Okay, so skill takes time to develop. So what this means is that you're struggling. So you're struggling and it's taking you so much time to catch up. You don't have to beat yourself. Okay, so you have to understand that struggling means I'm stretching and I'm growing. So we'll try and stretch more. We'll try and stretch more. You do it the first time, you make a mistake, go back again and do it. You do it again, you make a mistake, you go again and do it until I master it. There are certain things I'm doing now that I'm stretching myself. I really don't care about. So I don't know whether the lady is on this call, but I have a friend that all she does for me, because maybe I might be in a hurry, so I put up some scripts together. She has eyes to see errors. So not necessarily that I don't have eyes. Sometimes I'm in a hurry, so I just forward it to her. All the errors there, she will see it. So will I tell myself because I've not had time to proofread or that? No, once I finish, I just throw it to her and I'm like, just read it. But she does, and she reads it and she just tells me, okay, see this one, see this one, see this one. And I did it and I move on. Okay, so that last one is I must excel at every role at every time. So you need to understand that, look, I don't need to do everything perfectly. Okay, so you must understand that rest and balance makes me more effective in the long run. I used to be like that, like I told you. I will sit down, I want to finish the work in one day. No. Okay, so do what you can do today, then also you can move to the next thing. Now, I want to explain to you the psychology of self-doubt, because if you understand it, it's going to help you. Your brain is set up in such a way to keep you safe. So imposter syndrome is not a crime, but you can condone it if you want to remain at the same level. But if you know that the next level is calling your name, then you need to upgrade the software in your brain. If you know that the next level is calling your name, then you need to start stepping on waters. Okay, so the first thing is that your brain fuels the imposter syndrome. It's the one that fuels it. Okay, it's also your brain that remembers failures and criticisms. And you know, the thing is that it will be storing those things. Why is it that it's only bad things that we remember? The good things you don't remember, but bad things, you see, it can be so hard that maybe it's so bad that maybe your boss scolds you. Every night it should be playing in your mind. Why is it always the bad things that you remember? It's the way your brain is programmed. That's one. But I'm sorry, I'm going to sound spiritual now, but sometimes some devil also uses those things as traps. So it's played in our mind and it starts to replay to us to keep us. Okay, so as long as it remembers failures and criticism, it will still keep playing it for you. Remember the last time this thing happened though? I beg, you want to fail again? Just stay safe. That is programming. The second one is that the brain has a negativity bias, okay? It focuses on negative things until you begin to program it. I've programmed my brain so much that you cannot say negative things around me. We can be having a normal conversation and I will stop you and correct your speech. It's been programmed. Some people have been programmed to say negative things. It's the only thing they will see. That they will see, the only thing they see is why their business will not work because Nigeria has a problem. The only thing they will see is that while their business will not work because it's very hard getting good employees, just the negative things. Why can't we start saying the positive things? Okay. Then the third thing is that there's a part of your brain, okay, that's all it does. So they call it amygdala. It's the fear center. The recording on it where I thought about this. Maybe later I'll share it. What it does is to keep you safe. Your brain does not want you hurt. So anytime you want to take a step that you have not taken before, it will just start ringing an alarm. It will do everything to convince you not to do that thing. It's normal. It will do everything. It's a programming. It keeps you safe. Okay? And that is why a lot of people are very comfortable with their comfort zone because that is your safest zone. So it is your brain's default mode to keep you safe from rejection. And that is why you will refuse to sell because you don't want to be shut down. That's why you will refuse to sell because you don't want to hear a no. I read a book by one man, he sells houses, okay? So every day he will go around the street selling houses because he said his coach then gave him a book. And in that book, he has checklists. And he said, don't come back to me if you don't tick 10 no's on your paper. Because his business wasn't doing well. He was selling houses. And the man was like, if you need to sell houses, go out there and market the houses to the people. And the guy was complaining that, look, when I market, they say no to me. And the coach was like, how many no's? He says like, maybe like 2 or 3. And the coach told him, no, you've not started again. You've not started well. Go back, go and market it. Every day, show me your screenshot of your paper that shows you marketed to 50 people and they told you no. That's how this guy started though. Every day he will go on the street, knocking from house to house, marketing. Sometimes he will knock, they'll see him, they'll bang the door on his face, he'll just stick it. He was marketing, he will come back. So all of a sudden, it became a game for him. Okay? Every day, sometimes he closes out his nose before 3 p.m. and he comes back and he's happy. Guess what happened? Those people at that point were not ready to buy houses. But when they were ready, who do you think they called? The guy. You understand? And before we knew it, his business grew. You understand? So no today does not mean no tomorrow. It may just mean that they are not ready today, but tomorrow when they are ready, they will call you. So you need to sell, you need to market. But that is what your brain will tell you. Don't talk, don't sell. Okay? Because your brain is scared that you receive a no, the next thing you'll be sad and rejection will set in. For goodness sake, no does not mean it's the end. No, it means, okay, I'm not ready today. I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, are you ready? You keep doing it until you sell your product. Okay, so we know that the factors shaping our doubts are factors from our past experiences. Be very aware of how your brain works so that you will know how to respond to it based on your action. Your childhood is also part of it. How you saw your parents spend money is also affecting the way you're spending money now. Social pressure, what people are saying is also affecting you. Comparison is also affecting you. Okay, fear of failure, and all that. So those are the things you need to understand. Okay, I said I'll finish in 30 minutes. I'm trying to rush. Okay, so fine. How do we break the cycle? How do we break the cycle? Okay, so we're going to break that cycle and I'll tell you how I broke it. There are certain times in my life I want to step into a new stage or new phase. I get scared. Everybody gets scared. I'm telling you the truth. Everybody, because it's something you're not used to. Okay, so what I do to myself, I just know it's my brain again raising alarm. Okay, my brain is worried for me. My brain is concerned that I will fail. My brain is concerned that, you understand? Concerns that don't even work. What if those fears were the other way around? What if I tried it and I succeeded? Okay, what if I tried it and I score 100 over 100? What if? What if? Why are we always thinking negative stuff? So I stop it. And stopping means, number one, you must spot the imposter. You must know what those lies are. What are the negative thoughts? What is it now that you know that you're scared of doing? You're supposed to have started this thing, but you have not started it. What is keeping you? That business should have grown to this number, but you have not, because what is it that is limiting you? You have to spot it. What is it? What is it? And most times it's not your environment. Somebody today, she said she wants to start an NGO or whatever, and I asked her what the problem is, and she tells me it's money. Who told you it's money? For goodness sake, go and meet 5 of your friends and ask them to loan you money. Money is never a problem. Do you understand? It's as long as you see that there's a problem stopping you, that thing becomes a problem. What you should be asking yourself are, what are the opportunities in this thing? And as long as you can see opportunities, those are the things you begin to attract. Okay, so that's the first thing. Spot it. What is the lie that I've been entertaining? What is the lie that is keeping me stuck? What is the lie that is limiting me? Okay, so that's the first thing. So the second thing you must do is track. So, I've taught you some truths, mind shifting truths. Okay, so you need to begin. So now let me tell you, whenever I have a new task, okay, what I do is I tell myself, go and bring out your brag list. And my brag list is the list of my accomplishments, the goals I won, okay, and maybe other levels of achievements I've had. And when I look at it, I tell myself, you have done this thing before now, so why should this be an issue with you? Okay, so I begin to track my wins and reframe my mind. Okay, I tell those lies, look, I've done this thing before now. Share the last one, I did it now. Why would this one be a problem? So go back into your past and remember, nobody is useless. So I'm telling you the truth. When you were small, I had a session with somebody last week and she wants to start a business. Okay, so I asked her, and she's been struggling with this thing. She started since, I think I saw her in January or earlier this year. And this is August. She has not started. Stories upon story. No, it's imposter syndrome. They won't allow her move forward. She will say her partner did this one, her partner did this one. And I've asked her, I said, have you started a business before? She said yes. So I said, if you've done it before, what was the issue? So tell me the difference between you then and the difference between you now. Guess what she told me? She said faith. Because then she believed she could do anything and she got the result. So what is it now? She does not believe in herself anymore. And the truth is that some of us here may not believe in ourselves. And that is why we're having issues. Okay? So you need to track those thoughts. Get back those your wins. Tell yourself, look, this is what you're able and capable of doing. Okay? Then overwrite is you begin to challenge those negative thoughts. This is where I belong. This is my next level. I was chosen for this reason. It's my season. This is what I can do. That's why people set up vision boards. Okay? You begin to look at those things until you become. Time is not waiting for anybody. This year will soon be over. You just have about 3 months. I mean, how many months? Is it 4? September, October. The whole December, don't add December. December, all of us are on break. Just 3 months to go. Okay, then finally plant. So overwrite, you're going to start overwriting those thoughts. Then finally plant, you need to start planting confidence. You need a growth mindset. Find a safe space. Have people that you can talk to. If possible, you can get a therapy session. Talk to somebody to help build your confidence. Okay, openly share your wins and possibly create a road map. Okay, so I hope I'm not moving too fast. Okay. Yeah. So sorry, I've not been able to go to the chat section, but I really don't know what's going there. going on there, but I hope I'm not moving too fast, but I hope you're getting something. Okay, so let's continue. So now I want to show you something. Now, God knows that we will suffer from this problem. That's why he said in his word, do not cast away your confidence, because it has a great recompense of reward. He said it will reward you greatly as long as your confidence is in place. He says, don't cast it away. Keep it, protect it. The fact that you're able to take on the next level, protect it. Okay? So, all these people here said they were not enough. Moses, God sent him and he said, why? I beg you, I cannot go. I don't have energy for Pharaoh. But what God told him, look, he said, I'll be with you. He said, I will tell you what to speak. This was Moses. And what was the end of the story? He delivered it. Do you understand? And can I tell you the truth? If Moses had refused, God would have gotten another person to deliver that assignment. You're busy thinking that, you'd be so shocked at the end of the day when you find out that you're the only person walking in disobedience, because what you're supposed to have done, you have not done. You have been given excuses that don't make sense. Okay? The next person was Gideon. Judges chapter 6, the Bible said, he told God, when God called him, he said, my clan is the weakest. I'm the least, and the truth is that it was not his fault. Everything he said was true. He said, I'm the least in my father's house. But God said, you mighty man of war. Meanwhile, this guy had not fought any battle. In Judges chapter 6, verse 12, he said, go in this your might. And what was the story? The guy went with 300 men and won the battle. Can you see what he was scared? What he was scared of was not real. The same thing with Moses. The third person is Jeremiah. Okay, Jeremiah said, "I don't know how to speak." God was calling him as a prophet. He said, and he was so young, and he was like, "I'm too young." And you tell yourself, "I'm too young." Or you also be here telling yourself, "I'm too old." Age does not matter. He told him, "Don't say I'm too young." He says, "You must go to everyone I've sent you." Jonah, of course, you see the thing, people had their own stories. Jonah had his own story. But this guy, he said, go, I've sent you. Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 7. And he wrote a book, over 30 chapters, doing God's word. The next one was Sarah. The same word came for her. She did not listen, but thank God for Abraham, who actually carried the seed, trusted God, and that destiny was delivered. So the same thing with Peter. He said to Jesus, go away from me. I'm a sinful man. But Jesus said, don't be afraid. I will make you fish for people. Okay. So where we are now, okay, I've done 30 and I'll be rounding up. I want to encourage you. I'm going to share something called the thought swap sheet. That thought swap worksheet captures the thoughts that affect you, okay, and keeps you stuck. Whatever I'm teaching you, I've gone through it, okay? Fear of failure, social pressure. You may have some secrets that you feel possibly finally to get out there. For goodness sake, nobody cares. You may have identity issues, okay? You're shy. There are so many things, but I'm telling you that, look, you can overcome those things because it is your brain trying to limit you and make you become who you are not. Okay, I've shown you the scripture and this Bible personalities, how God dealt with them. And I can tell you that I know that God is still impressing it in your heart, and that is why I'm making this call today. If you're Jonah on my call this evening, if you're the Jeremiah on my call this morning, if you're the Peter on my call this morning, the Gideon on my call, the Moses on my call this morning, it's your turn to make the next move. And I'm encouraging you to take that decision. Failure is not final. Failure is feedback. And the earlier you take it, the better for you. It's just like somebody that is supposed to have taken, maybe you're in primary 1 now. You're supposed to take exam for primary 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're still in primary 1. Meanwhile, your mates are in primary 6 because they've taken all their exams and they are consistently following God's plan for their lives. Okay? Yeah. And the truth is that each level comes with new assignments. Each level comes with new tests. Okay? So there are two books I'm going to recommend for you. It's called The Growth Mindset. If you've not read it, please read it. It's by Carol Dweck. So read it. All those trash in our minds, you get rid of it. I'm reading Limitless now. It's a very good book. So it tells you all the knowledge you're getting. How do you synthesize them so that it can work for you? We created something called the Anonymous Box so that if you have questions, you can ask. I'm going to send the link in the group anytime there's something disturbing you that is keeping you stuck and you don't know how to ask a question. Because remember, we said it now. It's an imposter symptom. You're stuck, but you're scared to ask for help. You're stuck, but you're scared to ask questions. So go to that anonymous box and ask that question, and somebody will respond to you. So once you upload the response, we'll send you the link. But you know you're the one that asked the question. So you could go click on that link and watch it. So please make sure you're part of a community that is supporting your growth. Okay, and you're in a safe space for sharing your experiences. That's why we have the CEO prayer group. That's how we have the She Thrives and the Hero Hub. Let me tell you the reason why I'm doing this. There's a lot of darkness, there's a lot of gloominess, a lot of people are going under. But as long as you condition your atmosphere and your environment, those things will not affect you. Okay? So that's why I'm committing to bringing us knowledge, do you understand, on how to stay consistently on your path for growth. Okay, so that's why we're having this session for August. The next one will happen in September by God's grace. Okay, then normally we have what we call the accelerator. It's starting 1st of September. It ended in August, but I gave everybody 1 month break. So go and rest. You've tried. But in September, we're setting new goals and we're pursuing those goals till November. So we have September, October, November. The accelerator will end in November. So that December, you can rest, okay? And enjoy your life, okay? So we have 3 months of possibilities. We have 90 days of pre-spring sessions to help you shift, scale your goals, your vision, and projects. Okay, let's say you're on this call. I was talking to you the other day, and she told me that for the first time when she got into the accelerator, she was a bit confused because she was like, so you can live your life like this? Yes, you can live your life like this. Making progress per time. It's called sprint. Do you understand? So I want to say thank you for joining us today. And I want to thank you for committing to your growth all the time. This is being recorded, and I'm going to share the link with you. Thank you. And I'll be taking some questions now. For maybe I have another meeting for, what's the time? It's already 8 o'clock. I have an 8 o'clock meeting. Wow, what a day. So let's just take the questions before I join my next meeting. Thank you. Okay, so Blessing, are there questions in the chat? Where's my chat box?
No more.
Okay, any questions? If you have any questions, so you can just unmute yourself and ask me the question. I'll just take 2 and we'll close for the night, okay? So please don't forget the anonymous box. I'll send the link tonight to the groups. If you have any question, you can please ask me there so that we can take it, okay? So chats, I'm looking at chats, no questions. Stop entertaining and encouraging negative thoughts. I don't need to do everything perfectly. Truth replacements statements. Number 3 is my weakness. Okay, that's fine. So, okay, so if we are done, I want to thank you for showing up. That is my word from you today. To break off all the limitations in your mind and get ready to embrace your new level of growth. God bless you, and I will see you next month. So those of you on the accelerator, please hop on the link so that we can have a meeting. Good night. So please, if you need any updates, you can ask in any of the admins in the group, and they will respond to you in case you want to join the next accelerator starting 1st of September. Good night. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Ma. Good night.
Thank you so much. I hope you learned something today.
Yes, Ma.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
did.
Good night.